Hello guys, welcome to the movie recap review. Happy watching.
Seen anyone like that? Unless you...
Yes. Yes.
When I fix things, you fix people.
Miranda Wells, our lead, begins her story overseeing a surgery at the hospital where she works. With just a few days left as an RN, she's preparing to transfer departments to pursue her dream of becoming a surgical nurse. Later, while out with her small circle of nurse friends, one of them persuades her to go on a blind date with a friend of theirs. Though hesitant and skeptical, Miranda reluctantly agrees. The next day, Miranda has lunch with her father, and showcasing their close bond and revealing that she lost her mother at a young age. During their meal, Miranda steps away to use the restroom, but is interrupted by a panicked waitress begging for help. A man in the dining area is choking, and his size prevents anyone from performing the Heimlich maneuver. Acting quickly, Miranda rushes out, accidentally bumping into a busboy along the way, and performs an emergency tracheotomy to save the man's life. The next day, Miranda is at home preparing for her blind date. While painting her nails, she notices someone standing on her front porch. Curious, she steps outside and sees a semi-well-dressed man waiting. He introduces himself as William, and Miranda assumes he's her blind date. Caught off guard by his early arrival, she invites him inside, apologizing for not being ready yet. As Miranda continues getting ready, their conversation feels increasingly odd. William's comments grow more unsettling, and Miranda begins to sense that something is off. Once she's finished preparing, Miranda decides she's had enough and asks William to leave. His demeanor shifts suddenly. He refuses and locks the front door, blocking her escape. Alarmed, Miranda tries to flee through the kitchen, but William intercepts her, his aggression escalating as he overpowers her. Later, Miranda's actual blind date arrives at her house. Finding the front door ajar, he cautiously steps inside, calling out for her. To his horror, he discovers Miranda bruised and bloodied. Terrified, he immediately calls the police. At the hospital, Miranda gives her statement to the authorities. When asked if she recognized her attacker, she identifies him as the busboy from the restaurant she bumped into the previous day. Meanwhile, William, attempting to flee town, stops by the restaurant to collect his final paycheck. Unbeknownst to him, the police are already there, and he is swiftly apprehended and sent to prison. The assault leaves Miranda deeply scarred. She becomes plagued by constant trembling, heightened paranoia, and the stigma surrounding her home, where the crime occurred, forces her to halt its sale. William's actions rob her of her sense of security, her future plans, and much of her peace of mind, leaving her life in shambles. During her recovery, Miranda spends time with her father and his dog, whom she has never been particularly fond of. As she struggles to heal, she makes a surprising and perplexing decision. She writes a letter to William, asking to be added to his visitors list. Her initial letters are returned with "Return to sender" stamped across them, but she persists, sending letter after letter. Finally, one letter comes back with the words, "You win," scrawled on the back. Miranda visits William in prison for the first time. Their interaction is understandably tense and awkward. Miranda confronts him, asking why he attacked her. William avoids the question, offering insincere apologies and admitting only that he knows he's messed up. Frustrated but unwilling to press further, Miranda shifts the conversation to a lighter topic, asking about the food in prison. Surprisingly, Miranda later returns to visit William again, this time bringing him a home-cooked meal. Miranda begins visiting William in prison more frequently, often dressing in surprisingly provocative outfits. She keeps these visits a secret from everyone, and during their interactions, her behavior becomes increasingly flirtatious. On one occasion, she arrives in a sleek, white backless dress, complete with makeup, heels. As she waits for him, an officer informs her that William won't be coming and refuses to explain why. Miranda seems genuinely saddened and disappointed by the news. At their next visit, William reveals he was stabbed during yard time. Concerned, Miranda asks him to show her the scar. He hesitates before lifting his shirt to reveal a jagged wound. Separated by the glass partition, Miranda leans closer and, almost seductively, traces the path of the scar with her finger against the glass. Meanwhile, William's darker nature surfaces in his violent interactions with his cellmate. After his cellmate steals a Valentine's Day card that Miranda gave him, William snaps. He slams the man's head onto the table with brutal force, holding him down as he mutters a chilling, veiled threat, hinting at a pattern of abuse. Later, we see Miranda visiting her father, who shares the sorrowful news that his beloved dog has passed away. She helps him bury the animal, the scene steeped in quiet grief and reflection. At another visit with William, he mentions that he's up for parole soon. Miranda appears momentarily stunned by the revelation, but quickly brushes it off, her reaction suggesting conflicting emotions she's unwilling to confront. William successfully makes parole, and shortly afterward, he sends Miranda a small bouquet of flowers to her workplace. Upon receiving them, Miranda calls him immediately, scolding him for sending flowers to the hospital and warning him to be more discreet. The next day, as Miranda returns home from grocery shopping, William unexpectedly shows up at her house. He tells her he's eager to fix things, echoing sentiments he shared during their prison visits. He reminds her of his skill with his hands and his desire to make amends. Miranda hesitates, but eventually agrees, assigning him to start repairs on her porch while she works on landscaping nearby. As they work side by side, there's a subtle, unspoken connection growing between them. They exchange lingering glances, and it becomes disturbingly clear that Miranda is beginning to develop feelings for the man who once caused her so much harm. The following day, William stops by the local hardware store to pick up supplies for the porch. While there, he unknowingly crosses paths with Miranda's father. Recognizing William and noticing the materials he's buying, ones that match the porch at Miranda's house, her father immediately drives to her home. Bursting in, he confronts Miranda, shouting in disbelief and demanding to know why she has invited her abuser back into her life, let alone allowed him to work on her home. Miranda pleads with him, explaining her rationale. She needs William to fix the porch as a symbolic act of atonement. To her, having William physically repair what was broken feels like a way to reclaim her power, a cathartic alternative to spending years in therapy, reliving the trauma of her assault. The next day, William returns to help Miranda with the porch. As they work, sensual music plays while they paint an old rocking chair together. Sitting close, there's a noticeable tension between them, a stark contrast to the awkwardness of their first meeting. After a while, William mentions he's not feeling well and asks to use Miranda's bathroom. Skeptical, she asks if he can make it home, but he insists he can't. After a brief hesitation, she reluctantly agrees to let him inside. William smirks in gratitude and heads into the house. Moments later, a loud thud echoes from inside. Sometime later, William wakes up in a bed in Miranda's basement, groggy and confused. Miranda, now dressed as if she's going out on a date, walks in and casually tells him he passed out. As William struggles to focus, her demeanor shifts. She reveals her anger, saying she's never forgotten or forgiven what he did to her. William panics when he realizes he's tied to the bed. He demands to know what she's done to him. Calmly, Miranda explains that she had been poisoning him, adding antifreeze to the lemonade she served every time he came over. She goes on to detail how his actions left her scarred, physically and emotionally. Holding up a fake hand, Miranda taunts him, implying she amputated his right hand. She asks him cruel questions about what he values most. But the truth is even worse. She didn't take his hand. She castrated him. William is left in stunned horror as Miranda watches, savoring her revenge. Later, Miranda visits her father, who is still justifiably angry with her. They talk for a while, and she reassures him that her dealings with William are completely over.
And that's the end of the story. I hope you liked it. Comment down below what movies do you like us to recap next. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.